I really don't want to hear anyone ever say something like, I'm not good enough to get where I want to get at the game, or, something's holding me back. That's not me. I don't really want to hear that because Geg, in within about a 3 month span, went from being completely like non confident about even doing tens. Like the dude didn't understand Prideful. He didn't know the dungeons. He was like completely doing some dungeons for the first time. We have a lot of videos on the channel of this. He is now looking at 17s as his progression point. Okay, 1377, not too shabby considering where we started, and of course the guy's not playing 60 hours a week, so it's pretty impressive. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Theater 17. It is out of time, but it's on the hardest week possible, Bolstering Necrotic, and this is definitely, absolutely the hardest dungeon in the game on these affixes as well, because of Necrotic and Tyrannical on two of the bosses especially. So we have a few things to talk about before we start, though, unfortunately. The man is using Death's Certainty legendary. I don't know if you even know what that is. It makes your Death Strike and Death Coil deal 35% more damage, but also reduces the remaining cooldown on Death and Decay. Now, this is effectively useless portion of it, the Death and Decay portion, because we already have high uptime on Death and Decay. So this is something that was like meant to be for Unholy DKs. It's an interesting concept because, of course, more Death Coil damage and, of course, more Death and Decay uptime should be good for some of their builds. But for Blood DK, you don't need any more Death and Decay uptime. Like, it's actually not beneficial at all because the proc cannot happen when Death and Decay is down. So if you had Death and Decay down 100% of the time, you would just be, you'd actually be losing runes doing that. Does that make sense? Because you want the proc to give you a free Death and Decay. So one way or the other, if you wanted to have it down 100% of the time, you'd be committing runes to it. It was an interesting thought that I had because of Knife Fae, but I've never tried it. But it does also increase Death Strike's damage. He's also using on his weapon Rune of Sanguination. In case you don't know what this is either, I bet most people do not. Cause your Death Strike to deal increased damage based on the target's missing health. Now the problem is it doesn't do that much more damage. This is a bit of a bait. I feel like this is a very bad option. I'd be interested to seeing how much the healing contributes, though, because I wanted to test this a lot early in the alpha and beta and never really did much with it. When you fall below 35% health, you heal for 48% of your maximum health over 8 seconds. That is something that I would like to see more of. But yes, unfortunately, so the two do synergize somewhat well. If there was ever like a deep execute boss where you're in execute for like multiple minutes, I think this would be the play. Rune of Sanguination and Death Certainty, because Death Strike dealing 35% more damage is already really nice, and of course, extra benefit on that is going to be stacking pretty well. So he claims it's increasing his damage substantially, and I don't. I'm not sure where that's coming from because it's all going to be single target damage. And of course, that's pretty much the least valuable thing is Blood DK. We have very good single target damage. We don't have very good AoE damage right now. So if anything, I would say for me, when I have threat issues, it's never going to be on a single target. So, but let's get to it. We got his key here. It's going to show off some stuff, but main thing to note, right, look at the talents. Okay, he's not using whatever he's using Will of the Necropolis finally, so let's put it that way. But yeah, he's also got a 210 trinket on right there and a field emitter. I assume he's just out of Valor right now or something like that, but I would definitely, if you're going to stick with that trinket, yeah, get that thing upgraded as fast as possible. But yeah, not a great trinket, especially if you're not if you're not playing the way that other people are playing right now. So, but he is still Necrolord. He's got the primary stats on his chest, which was something he always we always used to joke about in the past. His UI has improved. He's using whatever this guy is as well. I don't really know anything about Necrolord Covenant stuff, so I can't really comment on that. But one thing I will also point out is that he's done exclusively only through Mythic Plus. All the gearing he has only through Mythic Plus, which I think is awesome. He's 220 something, so very cool. I don't know really anybody who's done that. He's done 0 rating and looks like 0 PvP as well, so pretty cool stuff. So a little small mistake there. Immediately you grip the wrong target. Small optimal stuff like that is going to help as a Blood DK because That ritualist is a caster, so of course you want to get that thing gripped immediately. Even if you wait to interrupt a cast, it's still going to be better. But yeah, gripping that one target completely wasted. That's just a wasted global. It doesn't help you at all. But anyway, we have Necrotic, of course, stacking up. We still have this, whatever this jank ass shit is. I really don't know. What? Tell me what add-on this is, because that is absolutely garbage. I would definitely recommend getting set up with weak ores, and I thought we had it at one point. Maybe that was somebody else. But yeah, still so he's using Plater, which is great. Great add-on, obviously. I would definitely recommend getting set up with weak ores. So he's going to try to drop necrotic stacks here, and he does succeed. He accidentally chain pulled, which is big problem on necrotic weak, but overall handles fine, no problem at all. It's not fortified, so this trash should be relatively easy in here. To be fair, this dungeon has actually got some hard trash in it at times, so not a bad week for the whole group, but it's just a very, very hard week for Blood DK in general. So, okay, so let's see. So in terms of damage, we have this on the screen. Last time it was like blocked, but it was all 3.1k there, so nothing special. But yeah, so the hardest fight in the game, in my opinion, and we go right into it. And this is the kind of, this is why you want Crimson Rune for a week like this, right? So a boss like this, you're probably going to get 3 uses of, well, it depends on how fast you kill the fight, but you're going to get probably 1 extra rune weapon use here. So still clicking the CDs. Definitely, if there was a next step, doing 17 is very successful. Obviously, a lot has improved since the last time we spoke and the last time we looked at this content. But yeah, still, I would definitely, you really, Blood DK CDs are just so freaking important. So to not be tracking them with anything on the actual screen and to still be clicking a lot of them, that's going to severely impact your performance. Like, it's no joke. Like, yeah, obviously you get by doing it, but severely, like, this is like an extra second added to the reaction time of every CD, and that is going to add up over the course of a dungeon. So anyway, we got 24 stacks. We got rune weapon, advanced rune weapon used there, and it is going to allow him to drop stacks. Wow, that is really a bit of a spot of luck there, honestly. Might have just been the mob dying too at the same time, but that is really, you've been very fortunate there. The amount of times it's such a gamble here, dropping stacks. It just seems like almost never consistent. The main thing is to not interrupt these bosses, because then they start meleeing too. But every once in a while, they will melee just because somebody interrupts them to move in. And then that kind of makes things quite complicated. But yeah, definitely want to be moving these together, though. I mean, it's still a DPS race and it's still tyrannical, right? So that was a good minute of them being separated. Really, that's really suboptimal. Even just for your survival and your offense, right? Like, I mean, that's quite bad, but okay, so we have almost no issues with this fight whatsoever. I'm actually really surprised. I wonder what your thoughts are on this. Like, this is a very tough fight, and I feel like even on 17, I might have some issues with it. But yeah, we'd be relying on a few. You get a little lucky, and it makes it a lot easier. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I feel like this is definitely deadly boss mods, huh? Like, it's organizing these interrupt things, like, with the actual noxious spores stuff. Like, man, really, yeah, definitely. If you have any questions about weak ores, that's next step, I think. Getting set up with proper keybinds and getting set up with proper weak ores. Happy to help if you need help with that. But yeah, overall, 3.5k for that fight, so nothing crazy with 3 targets. I wish, hopefully, maybe at the end we'll be able to see an overall. Hopefully, we'll see it. But yeah, so still using very few add-ons, it looks like, in general, which I can respect a lot. But there's a couple things, like, I think, especially as a tank, you really need to have on your screen. And one of them is the breakdown from 1 to 2 to 3 chest, or whatever you call it now. So that's just a quick little weak or I guess the add-on. Yeah, it's Angry Keystones, I guess, doing that, right? So it's good. So we're going to grab a lot of these. This is actually a little bit of a complicated pull. Okay, so it looks like he's going to be doing something a little conservative there, and I would recommend that this week, although we only got 4 mobs. It's really not what we're looking for. The problem here is everybody's going to probably try to pop CDs, because, like, CDs would be coming back up at the end of the last fight, and they're not going to use them. People are going to all try to pop CDs there. As you see, that guy did 10k DPS on 4 targets. And now the next 2 sets are going to be weaker, right? So ideally what you do is you would pull like 7 and 3, or I think there's 10. I don't actually. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, we're down. Now we're doing it the complete wrong way. Yeah. So this is really, 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 really bad idea this week. Like, could not be a worse idea this week, and it's probably going to lead to some deaths, maybe a wipe. But yeah, pulling through that area very slowly is just asking people to get hit by stuff. I know it shouldn't happen, but it will, 100%, even on high keys. The stuff actually happens very fast. And the big mistake that you make here is that people's CDs would have been up for the first set and not for this set, including things like Solar Beam and Stuns. Of course, you don't have those in your comp here, but terrible, terrible comp, by the way. We have Warrior, Unholy DK, and Marksman Hunter. But I guess it's okay. It's not the worst thing this week, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of 2 DKs, honestly. Okay, so this is going to be, yeah, bolstered to hell, and we're going to die here. This is that Necrolord thing. Yeah, you're surviving because of the Necrolord thing. So, unfortunately, you kind of did that to yourself. So I would recommend 3, 3, and 3, or whatever, 4, 4, and 3, or whatever the numbers would be there. You'll want to kind of split them up into 3 even packs if you're going to do it that way. Otherwise, just go really big, which is like 7, and then 3 at the end. And again, that's just, oh, no. What are we doing here? Oh, no, you're not going to bolster this guy. Okay. All right, yeah, let's intentionally bolster the Guardian. Well, it is not fortified. I mean, it doesn't look like that bad of a play, right? But this is going to get you killed on a higher key. There's no way you ever want to bolster the mob like this. And it's not just like damage, too, right? Like when you bolster a mob like this for free, it just gets more health. So it takes longer. It's actually like a tough thing to balance. Like, do you want 2 mobs to kind of like maximize some cleave and stuff? Or do you want 2 separate mobs to just die as fast as possible? And it's a really it's a balancing act. It's going to depend a lot on the packs, of what you're fighting, what CDs, what kind of comp you have, etc. But it's always got to be something you're considering as a DK, because of grips, and he also can control undead there, right? So actually, maybe that mob's not an undead. I've never tried to control it, but regardless, yeah, I would definitely assume you do not want to ever intentionally bolster a target like that. And we're letting a lot of those bone spears go off, and the DK is going to go down because of it. Hold on a second. That's interesting. So, Blood DK, of course, very good at disrupting mobs like this. Of course, you have Stun. You also have Single Grip, and you have Gorfiends. Gorfiends is not up. Let's see where our abilities are. I'm having trouble finding them on the screen here. Okay, so Asphyxiate, I literally don't see on the screen. Where is that? Unsure, but it's probably up. I assume you didn't use it all. Where the hell is Asphyxiate? I actually don't see it. Okay. Oh no, it's over there. It's actually under my camera, so it's on CD. So yeah, we're gonna just have everything on CD when this happens. So a little bit misused. The grip is up though, so this is a grip right here. Yep. So that is a grip to interrupt that cast and save that man's life and save the battle res, which I assume. Oh no, he doesn't. Oh, he dies and releases. So even worse. Huge letdown there to let that guy die. That's something you definitely got to pay attention to. As a Blood DK, you have a lot of ways to stop casters. You can also just mind control that mob. Again, a lot of ways to stop casters. And I'm not the best at it either. I'll give you, don't think I'm a pro at it. I've been critiqued quite heavily over the years as well. It's oftentimes difficult for me to get the correct target and get a grip off, because grip is technically on the GCD. So you have to be very aware of it. But there should have been no issues. Only 2 mobs. I'm pretty sure you had the one that you needed to grip targeted as well. So just kind of thinking about that stuff is going to be really important. But the DK does get back in time, presumably to get the Prideful buff. But on to the next pack. So that's interesting. I actually did that Pride with 4 players, and it was 0 issues. I guess that's the difference. If that was on like a 19, oh my god, that Pride, yeah, would have killed you guys. All right, so here we go. Another one that you can mind control on. Not needed, really, but considering it's bolstering. See, I just don't really know. Is it better to fight? I think it's probably better to not, now that you have Pride. But in general, the pack like this, I think the answer, like, so it's going to double bolster the Soulstorm, right? And luckily it happens right as the Soulstorm ends, but that could be a big moment, big swing moment there. So, well, also bad grip from the other DK. That's not, you definitely do not want these mobs being separated, and you certainly do not want to just be randomly gripping like that guy did, because then he does not have his grip for a more important ability. So it looks like we have these mobs under control. We're doing the route that I do as well, it seems. At least we'll see what we do after this, but this is not the route most people do, so I assume you're doing my route. We'll see. Going left. These mobs always try to get an interrupt on the far one to get him coordinated a little bit easier. Let's see if it happens, and it does. He pulls that one in, so that's fine. That's same result, really. I would recommend the far one, though, just simply because if you have melee, everybody's probably going to like charge to the front one. So you bring the far one closer to the front one instead of the front one closer to the far one just to help melee. But anyway, death wins. Make sure you're dodging this. I did notice that you can actually just use Death's Advance and eat it if for some reason you ever had to, but it does a lot of damage. So yeah, don't really want to do that. Anyway, Hunter back there playing tricks on himself. I don't know why he's so far away, making this mechanic way harder. But yeah, no problem. You guys are actually kind of crushing this. 4 deaths. So I'm interested to see what occurs if this is not an upgrade. I'd be interested also to hear what your thoughts were on the key and what the progress was like through it. So this is definite death grip or definite mind control. Let's see if he does it. It looks like a no. So yeah, definitely mind control this pack always. As a DK, you could make a really, really fun little play here. First of all, especially on bolstering week, but fourth of all as well, you do not want to have this mob die on this platform, because then you fight pride on this platform, and on tyrannical weeks, that means not only are you fighting on a small platform and dealing with the after effects of everything, but you're also, and also you've just bolstered this guy, but anyway, also now you've lost about probably 15-20 seconds of pride, whereas if you fight him on that platform up there, you're only going to lose about 5 seconds of it. So that is might sound like a little bit of a, an over optimization, but it is a big deal on tyrannical bosses, and especially on this boss, as you're going to have lust up for it. So yeah, I'm surprised maybe you've never seen me do it, but yeah, this is actually something that I think very few people were doing, and I don't know if DKs are doing it now, but yeah, certainly fighting pride on the next platform instead of this platform on a bolstering week where the mobs are getting more powerful when they die anyway. 100% to play. I don't think there would be any question about that. So let's see. Yeah, let's actually see how much pride we get by the time we engage. So okay, so we got pride 58, 57. Let's just go all the way. See how much time this is. That's at least 5 seconds just right there. Yeah, so you're already down 10 seconds. I'd imagine fight. So you'd be fighting it like right here, basically. 45, 40, 43, 42, 41. So yeah, you've lost about, wow, yeah, 39 seconds of pride left. So definitely not good. They're asking you if they want to lust. What? Are you retarded? Nah, let's save. Don't lust on that tyrannical boss that it's up for. Just definitely save it. Oh, you're also using a classic floating combat text. That's cool. We probably commented on that in the last video. I love this add-on. It's so freaking cool looking. I love the way it looks. But now that's a great fight for Bloody K2, because if you ever get the parasite, it's a little bit difficult in pugging though. Like if you get the parasite and the healer dispels you, then you're not going to be able to do much. But as a DK, you can actually get a lot of value from your core kit. Just every time you get that parasite, you can just AMS. You can also try to be really fancy and AMS before it goes out and hopefully avoid one of them. But I don't think that's ever worth it. You're going to get way more value from using it when you know you need it. And of course, you're probably the best tank in the game to get it. So you have it on you now. You can also AMZ. Looks like you're going to try to health pot or something. I don't know. But yeah, definitely use the CD. If you get that and you keep it the whole time, definitely use the CD, because the healer, this is actually like the reason the fight is hard. Typically, if the healer is able to stay ahead of the damage, it's a complete joke fight. And it does look like the healer's falling behind there. So that would have been a really good way to help the healer. You can also throw AMZ down. That was what I was hoping you were reaching for there. Go AMZ on top of yourself. Maybe if you and another melee are having trouble, you can throw AMZ down and keep them alive too. But it does look like your group is struggling a bit. But of course, you got Azrael Warrior. Dude's doing like 5K. Not too bad. But so let's see some of these death strikes. Where are these death strikes at? You got 15% left health here. The problem with this whole sanguination thing is it's like a gradient that elevates like linearly. So say it like starts to be 30%, it doesn't get great until like 5%. You see, and look at how little time the boss is from 5%, right? So you're only going to get like 2 death strikes off total there. Maybe not even. It doesn't even look like you're using death strike. So there you go. So was that 6K death strike? Yeah. So anyway, that's the problem with that. It's a little it sounds cool on paper, but in reality, it's just, again, it would have to be a really big health pool that was just in the phase that you could execute in for a long period of time. So yeah, he's doing my route. This is great. I'm really glad to see this because I think this is absolutely a stunning route for Blood DK. And thanks to Tanner and everybody else who's helped contribute to it, because this is definitely this was a collaborative effort. Let's put it that way. Okay, cool. So let's see, scale here. So we definitely, if we're going to do this route, we definitely need to make sure we're saving some CDs. So using both of those there is a little risky, I feel like, on a key this low. I think you're probably not going to have them up for the big pull coming out. I'm interested in seeing how you approach that. Let's see. But yeah, without Trinket up or your Covenant ability, that might be a little sketchy. Rune Weapon is going to be up here as well. Hopefully you'll save that at least without Crimson Rune. I don't know what will be up for the next pack. Let's see what happens. Good kick there, very good. It's using the glyph to give him, or whatever, the conduit to give him extra runic power, which I've never been a huge fan of. I feel like there's better options out there, but in 5 mans, it's quite good, of course. But I think if you're not using Rune of Sanguination, so this is Rune of Sanguination. What's the other one called? The one that gives you more runic power. I always felt like those two things together were kind of mandatory. So, okay, so we're gonna. What's he gonna go get the banner? I would not recommend if that's. Well, let's make sure it happens first. If you were gonna go get the banner, I would recommend not doing that. Okay, so he is saving Rune Weapon. That's very good. That's a smart decision, and that's probably. Oh, and there's Fleshcraft right at the end. That's actually pretty good. That's a good effort there, because then you're gonna go into this super strong. Oh yeah, you're not a knife face, so you don't get to blink over there like Pikachu in Smash Bros. You ever play that? It's like flying across the screen. That's why I love that that Covenant, man. It's awesome. Okay, so definite 100% mind control here. Let's see what he picks. He's going to not get that one. Hopefully he's gonna get the next one. Okay, so he's not going to get the whole room. So this is a big mistake here. The small mobs do not bolster. So yeah, if you're going to pull all this, if you're going to do this route, you definitely want to go get everything. So mind control the big guy, the fat dude with the one that heals. And all you need to do is just make sure you're interrupting the whatever it's called, withering decay. Okay, so very easy at DK yet again, but you just kind of have to keep your eye on it. There's a couple things you need to might need to interrupt in this room. But yeah, so that's not a well optimized, because so now this, like, it's just like a very slow room if you're going to do it this way. And as DK coming off that route, there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to pull it all there. Like, it's actually really easy. 90% of the time people have all their CDs up too. I don't know. Just seems to line up that way for me. I've never seen otherwise. So okay, so here we go. So we made a whole video on this a couple weeks ago. Let's talk about the Putrid Butcher. All right. I don't know how many people know this. I assume most people, but devour flesh. Okay, so don't just eat, devour. No, anyway, so you can't actually see it, but see that F key there right underneath that camera, right here ish. It's hard to do. There you go. See that? You want to use that key there, that F key, when he's casting this ability. It heals for the amount of damage he does effectively. So you could use a defensive CD, multiple ways to stop it, like stuns and interrupts, but you can't, well, not proper interrupt, but things that will prevent him from doing anything for a second or two, like a disorient or a hunter trap or a sheep or something like this. Obviously, sheep can't be used on undead, but you get the point. So you could also mind control. Now it looks like you actually put Icebound up, so that's a fair effort, but stun is up, so you definitely want to be thinking about this. But you can also mind control, and that sounds really dumb, but I think it's a great play. I think it's a real, especially right now, considering it's not bolstered. You can do it. So just quickly, as the cast begins, mind control it and drop it. And he won't do it again for a long period of time. It's almost like, it seems like overpowered, honestly. I don't really understand why it happens. But when I mind control that mob, it doesn't seem like you would think, since you're not actually interrupting the cast, that he would just start doing it again immediately. But there must be something going on about him switching sides kind of thing that makes it Yes, and you cannot kite that, by the way. That's another big error. Hold on a second. But anyway, there must be something about him switching sides that kind of makes it, reset. But yeah, so you see it takes a big, let's say, let's take one quick look at this properly here. It's a little bit too much. I guess it's because of necrotic. Well, that's fair enough. I understand you probably aren't thinking about this, but so you see this man here, Vital Remain. He's from Area 52. He's going to be taken down to about Area 54 or Area 51, maybe, whichever direction you want to go. Look at that, 90. Oh my God! Uh, oh my God! He gets hit from 94 to 12% by the Devour Flesh, and the Butcher's eating well tonight. Let's take a look at how much health he gains here. It actually doesn't look like he gains that much health. I'm kind of surprised by that. I guess it's just it hit so hard because that dude's just not a tank. Oh, actually, just kidding. He goes from 40 to 67. So he just gained at least 25% of his health. Okay, so so what are we going to do differently? Next time, we're going to mind control the Butcher, kill everything else, and make sure people are handling this mob properly. Definitely the right way to do it, in my opinion. All right, so we got the Pride here. Let's make it quick. We got 2 DKs, though. I haven't really seen a lot of AMZ usage in this dungeon, I feel like. You definitely want to, if you have 2 DKs, I always just throw my AMZ down on top, like, immediately. Actually, I think you are using there's like a conduit that makes AMZ stronger or something like that. I would never even consider using that on a Blood DK. But since you also have a strong, usually a DK DPS will always have that because there's nothing else better for them. So that's why I always let them use theirs later. Okay, so we got 2 AMZs. Good work. Passable. Not bad. A little late on that last one, but of course, tough times. Okay, so again, the Butcher. And again, this is like, might sound like we're overthinking things, but no, this is actually a really important mob type. And especially with Bolster, it can be very dangerous on a fortified week too. No, Withering Discharge. Thanks for stopping by. Grip was up wide open to interrupt that and just didn't get it. So yeah, these whatever these things are called, they're going to cast Withering Discharge, and if you do not interrupt this, you're going to have a bad time. It makes it do do less damage and take a bunch of damage as well. But we did stun the Butcher. Okay, so we're there. We're about 50%. We got to get 100%, but we're about 75. We're about 75 right now. We got to get to 100. That kind of lack of focus from the tank slot does hurt. Okay, so. And again, cannot kite that. Let's see. So he tried to run. I think he tried to run to not have that heal. And let's just demonstrate one more time. I'd be 100% sure because that, yeah, as you see, does not work. You can see his health go up. I'm just trying to figure out who he bites because I don't see anybody die. So probably just the DK again. Not really sure who it bit. Maybe a pet or something like that. But yeah, definitely heals one way or the other. Might just hit the tank. Honestly, it might just hit the tank. It might have like a range anyway. So, but yeah, can't actually run from that. No way to stop that other than either with stuns. I think knockbacks don't work because I know grip doesn't work, but a little suboptimal. Okay, we skip. He says care and skip. Very good. Good language use there. That is the right play, but we're a little hesitant. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No, you definitely don't want to be potting here. Yeah. All right, just go the other direction. No problem. Pot for boss, always on Tyrannical Week. So you don't. That's why I make such a big deal about that miss a turn aside skip, because you really don't want to be encouraging the group to not. Okay. Well, you do not need to pot that. Even right there, you didn't even need to pot at all. Like I could see if you potted in the other direction, but now you don't need to pot. You could skip it, no problem without potion, and waiting a few extra seconds is certainly worth it. Because this next boss is the hardest boss in here for the whole group. It's pretty tough for you too, but bags are still open. I do this all the time, keeping the bags open, but typically I don't have this big square bag, so a little bit encumbering visually. He's going to close it now. Very good idea. Very smart. I was really smart closing that bag there. Okay, the Butcher stun. Looks like he's going to heal right now. Let's see this heal. Okay, not too... Oh, just at the last second you stunned, but you did not get it. That's fun. But nah, he gets only a little bit of health. I'm surprised. I guess it's because it's not fortified, but... Yeah, I've seen this mob like heal upwards of like 50% at times. So, okay, very good idea to pull this solo here. I think this is the play. Get this guy alone, and then you can pull the rest, and also you can mind control, but... Yeah, important to recognize that the small mobs, whenever you fight these mobs, they do not. I thought they were the exact same mob type for most of the first season. It is not the case. They're a different mob type entirely. They do not cast Withering Discharge, and they will not bolster. They will not drop Sanguine. They will not do any on-death stuff. So, yes, that's a very good thing to do. They look like they're dangerous, but they are not. They're just jumping around, fodder, basically confusing you, and making sure that you, keep your attention on the main guy, and you're good. Okay, so a little fleshcraft on the delay here, unfortunately. That's the thing that kind of sucks about this spell. We talked about this early in the expansion, and now that they buffed it, I just don't think it matters anymore. But so quickly get Blood Plague up, very good. Get a couple Blood Boils, and I would definitely recommend moving on, which we're not going to do. So, okay, suboptimal. This pack is basically like fighting a non-elite pack, right? I mean, there's only one elite mob, and yeah, so really slow to be just pulling a single mob here. But anyway, yeah. So what I would do is I'd run down here, grab this horror, and mind control this butcher, and then kill all those trash, and then you'd have the butcher alone, no bolster stacks, able to kill that, no problem. So now we've probably gonna bolster. Yeah, clearly gonna bolster the butcher at this point. So yeah. Not great. I mean, it's mostly a fix stuff we're talking about here, which, to be fair, it's the hardest to fix week in the game. So a lot of people just don't even play. So props to you, which is, by the way, I hate, but props to you for trying to do progression on the hardest week. There's not a lot of people out there, so I have a lot of respect for anybody who does that. That's a good stun, though. You got it. Can't mind control now. He's bolstered, though. So if there's another one, no, there is not very good. A lot of times you'll see two, but probably mostly on fortified. Okay, so we have the hardest boss coming up. We have Lust coming up. What do we got? We have we have Abomination's Limb. We don't have Dancing Rune Weapon or Trinket. So they were probably used on the AoE pack based on that timer. Not ideal. Let's quickly go back and look at that. So without Crimson Rune, you really got to be better at using, so you use them here, from what I could tell, for pure offense, which you do good offense, but yeah. You got to be better with Rune Weapon on Necrotic Weeks, man. Like, that is such a big part of it. You'd be surprised at how good Rune Weapon is on Necrotic Weeks. Okay, so anyway, we walk into the pack. Actually, stuff will be coming up. It'll almost be up. Close to being the right decision. Waiting on A-Bomb Limb, perhaps to help grip the mobs. Probably not a bad idea. Never used the spell in a Mythic Plus before, but probably not a bad idea. We actually get pulled there, so that's suboptimal. The closer, if you stand within melee range of the boss, he will not pull you, which is always better. You do not want to get pulled here, especially as a tank, because the off chance you get pulled the wrong direction, you get hit in the back or something like that. Definitely a bad idea. So, okay, so we're actually sitting on CDs. Really bad idea. We got Pride ticking away here. All of your offense is going to be gone, it looks like, if you don't use it within the next 15 seconds. So definitely not optimized usage of CDs here at all in this stretch, but perhaps we're saving them purely for defensive capabilities, which kind of double as offensive capabilities in this fight, because the quicker you kill the ads, the less necrotic stacks you have, and the more rune weapon uptime you have, the less necrotic stacks you have too. So, okay, things are getting a little dangerous here. I cannot believe you have still sat on this trinket this whole time. This trinket is so powerful in this fight with 3 targets. There you go. You finally used it. A little late, though. Necrotic stack quite high, so that's another problem with that trinket. Okay, now don't forget we could Icebound if you ever find yourself in a position. Looks like you used it at some point. I didn't see that, but if you ever find yourself in a position where you cannot get out of the hooks, simply Icebound, and you will not get stunned by the hooks. They will walk right by you. Pretty cool. But yeah, so actually on this week, I would make 0 effort to get these ads in. A lot of, like every other week, I just grip them and try to taunt them to get them in, kill as fast as possible, which is what you're doing too, and typically a very good strategy. But this week, I would not recommend that, simply because necrotic, okay? You do not want any extra stacks, so let these DPS handle it. They're probably going to lose threat to you eventually anyway, so it's not like you're not doing your job. But yeah, even 1 or 2 melees on the DPS instead of you is going to be a huge necrotic gain. So that's it. We got 10 minutes left. No way it's an upgrade. I guess it's just, I don't know, surprising. I'm not really sure. I guess it's overall damage too. Maybe it's kind of low. This is strange because I haven't seen any major mistakes. A couple, like, to be fair, a couple pretty suboptimal routing decisions, but no way would I say that this is not, this is a very well executed dungeon and you haven't done anything substantially wrong. So, okay, so there's that banner still. Anyway, we're gonna do. This is the part that really sucks about DK, right, man? Like, this is literally why I'm Knife A, actually. Like, that right there is the reason. Because it's so freaking, man, it is so shitty being the last person to every single mob. Like, that's kind of the tank's job, is setting the pace of the dungeon, right? So, you have to be ready to move, and unfortunately, there's nothing you can do there. Like, you have a long way to run, and you're gonna be the last person to the boss, so, or the mini boss. Okay, so we have a very easy last few trash pulls, it looks like. Count-wise, everything's perfect, lining everything up perfectly. Nothing really going on. What are we doing? Just eating that? No problem. I don't even know what that, like, does that do a lot of damage? Doesn't look like it. Yeah. Well, the unholy DK is what? AFK or something? Would he go to the wrong way? What just happened there? I don't know. He was lost or something. He's here now. Taking a while to kill this mob, but yeah, one way or the other, you would not be upgrading this, I don't think, with 10 minutes left. Although maybe on Tyrannical, it's slightly less, but I usually see, like, if you don't have, like, 12 minutes coming here, it's probably not going to happen. So hopefully we're going to get a mind control here. Let's make sure. Where's the key? Come on, don't do this. Don't do this. You got to mind control the mind. Oh, you didn't mind control it. Oh, Gag, what are you doing, my friend? I'm feeling tightness in my chest. Come on. Try the captain. What are you doing? It's bolstering. Get the bomb. Oh my god. Oh no, you're gonna kill it. It's gonna die. Oh, you killed it. Oh no. Why would you not mind control it? Oh my god, do you not know about that? Well, maybe I'm making too big a deal about it. I don't know, but especially on bolstering, it just seems like a slam dunk to get good value out of control and dead to me, but maybe people disagree. Somebody was like arguing about me doing some of these things in the other side, but I don't think there's any argument there. We're talking about a mob getting isolated out of a pack of like 6 or more. Like on the first pack of the other side, there's what? I think there's 5 mobs in the one and then 2 in the other, right? So that's 7 mobs. So one mob is going to have 6 stacks of bolstering. It's certainly better for me to get those 6 stacks of bolstering removed and then just kill the mob separately, right? Or no? I don't know. Seems like the case for me, so. Yeah, so you're missing out on a mob that will do a substantial amount of damage. First of all, most dangerous mob in the pack as well. So on most weeks, it's incredibly important to mind control that just to help the group survive. It also gives the whole group a 2% damage buff. So it gives the pack like a 20% damage buff or something. I don't actually know because I always mind control it. But it gives the whole group a damage buff and also a damage reduction, but a very small one. It's only like AoE damage. It's like 5% AoE damage reduction, which doesn't really come into play. I think it might actually help on this mob, but past that, I'm not sure there's any actual AoE damage that anybody would be taking. But most importantly, it also has a free interrupt, which again won't really come into play, but is there, and also has Demo Shout, which is a big damage reduction. And it's not going to be something most people are going to try to use, but if he gets the demo showed off at the right time on these last 2 bosses, it could be huge. Like, absolutely. You really feel it. I think it's like a 20 or maybe even more damage reduction when he uses that demo shout. So, very noticeable. These 2 bosses, the hardest hitting bosses in the dungeon. Won't be a problem with Necrotic, but yeah, so not too shabby in terms of what we've done. Just a couple. I'm just surprised. I don't know. I guess you haven't seen, or maybe you have conflicting opinions on it. Let me know what you think, but. Yeah, I would definitely on a bolstering week. I don't think there's any question about it. I don't see any reason not to do it. And it's you're over count too, right? Like, so why would you not, right? Like, there's no, the mob doesn't need to die. It's free count. You don't need it. So grab the pep. All right, so here we go. Popping everything on the pull with pride. That's, well, definitely should use rune weapon too. This is a fight that really rune weapon doesn't help on. I don't know if you can actually parry these brutal combos. I feel like I've never actually parried one. Maybe you can, but I don't know if you actually can. So yeah, quickly kill the oppressive banner. That first one's going to die really easily because of pride, but then every other one is going to be quite tough. So we'll see what it looks like. Good movement there. It's tougher at some tanks, but Blood DK obviously can't be slowed. So if the banner's up, you should be able to get out regardless as long as you're positioned well. You got the 2 melee down there kind of just fiddling. One guy's going to attack the other guy. Very good. Let's make sure we're getting on that thing. Hit it with Blood Plague. Very good. Very good. Rune weapon still not being used. So sitting, I can see why you're not using Crimson Rune. I would really reconsider the legendary situation. I think you'd be surprised at how good having Rune weapon up for every pack is. Like, I mean, you can have it up especially as a Necrolord, and you could consider Tombstone as well. I don't know how much you thought about this. I would be very interested in seeing this. A Necrolord with Tombstone and Crimson Rune. I think you would literally have Rune Weapon up probably 4 times in every 3 packs. I think at least, maybe even 5 times in every 3 packs. And that is ridiculous. I can't even imagine what that would be like. It might actually be too many Bone Shield charges at that. I think Size was also discussing this, and he was like, you basically have too many Bone Shield charges. So it's interesting. Interesting premise. I will be trying it hopefully on my Night Elf Death Knight that will someday get to 60, but it's a slow process. Speaking of slow process, this boss taking a while to die. DPS is very bad. 3k DPS from the Unholy DK, so yeah, I can see why you don't upgrade this. Simply just not a very good offensive effort. But yeah, Rune Weapon finally out. There you go. Also, really important to track the length of Rune Weapon. I would not be able to play DK if I didn't have that on the screen. That is one thing that I've always. The Vamp Blood one has been a lot less important. I used the same tracker for a few different CDs, and now it's mostly just Vamp Blood and Rune Weapon. But Vamp Blood used to be way more important because of Umbilicus. You would not want Vamp Blood. In fact, you used to be able to cancel Vamp Blood to get Umbilicus at a better time. So you would want to be very clear on when Vamp Blood was about to end. So first of all, you can maximize your Death Strike, but second of all, you would know when you're about to get a big Umbilicus. So looks like somebody grabbed the thing there. I don't know what happened there. Where's the banner? Yeah, maybe you're commenting on that. But anyway, yeah, obviously you want the banner for the last boss. So whoever did that kind of screwed you. Maybe the other DK. Wait, what's he doing? Oh, what the hell? Nobody grabbed that banner, so now he's gonna go back and get that one. That's very, very curious. Lust on the rip or at 50? Yeah, certainly. Hold on a second. We just hovered over the Death Knight damage there for the first time. Let's see if we can't get it paused at the right time. Really eager to see. Okay, so I mean, that's nothing special, unfortunately. I don't know. I just don't really feel like this whole situation is working out for you. I'm not really sure. I think it's a little placebo, honestly. I'm not really sure what your thought process is on this, but this legendary is not really helping you at all. That's not very good damage at all with that. If that's buffing, like if those two things are selling out to make Death Strike stronger, it's not doing it very good. It's not doing a very good job. Let's put it that way, because that's probably lower than my Death Strike percentage would be, which is very surprising. But I don't know what's causing that. Maybe I have more haste or something, getting more Death Strikes off in general. But I would definitely say that Fallen Crusader is like not optional if you're not running. Like it depends on what you're doing and your approach, but like Fallen Crusader is going to offer way more offense than the other option. Like that legendary is fine, maybe I guess, but Rune of Sanguination is completely useless. Like you're not going to get any value out of that in 5-mans whatsoever. The mobs are not in the proper execute range for any length of time. You're only ever going to get like 1 Death Strike off. It's not like it's blood play. You know, if it was something that was ticking every second, that'd be great. But you know, Blood DK doesn't just spam Death Strike, right? Like, so you're not gonna get like 4 great Death Strikes. It's not like an execute for a warrior, right? Like that's what it's trying to turn it into. So in order to get good Death Strikes off there, you have to be selling out for it. But let's go. Yeah, sure. Let's go without the 5th player. All right, here we go. So yeah, obviously we're not upgrading this. 250, although I don't know how we missed it, because actually that should be... It's because this stupid fucking idiot went for the banner. Like, legitimately, if this guy was just up here, we would have upgraded. You would have upgraded this. That was the complete wrong play on that dude's part. I honestly, I would say on the tank, it's kind of your job to be like, no, come on. That's not... I don't know what the hell that dude was thinking, but that was a terrible idea. Yeah, so no actual health bar anywhere either. It's a little hard for me to be sure you're maximizing here on this fight, but this is definitely a fight where you should dominate. AMS right now. If you AMS right at the end of that cast, you will not spawn an ad. You will prevent the ad from spawning, which is giant, like actually giant. And you could also disadvance here to have the ad, or to have the pull in not affect you either. So yeah, really big deal. Not spawning an ad, that's a big DPS gain for the group too. So your survival is going up. Everything's getting better doing that. So Oh, and we lust on the pull. What are these guys doing? Oh my god. Now how do you throw a key this hard, man? This is crazy. Oh, that's just disappointing. On Tyrannical Week, you're gonna lust on the pull. Wow. Yeah, alright, well. So that's probably going to be a couple deaths here, maybe. I don't know. This fight is actually, look at that, Hunter, just clueless. Just got zero clue. The guy's like Morgraine on steroids. He got no clue. What's he doing out there? He's like, hey, I'm Hunter. Pew, pew. Getting fucking destroyed. Oh, what was this? Little stun playing, oh, a little bit of throwing here at the last minute. I was too busy acting out the Hunter desires. Okay, so you're standing right on top of this. Not good. I do this all the time myself. I often can't see it because the boss is actually kind of blocking it. But yeah, so when the portal's spawning right next to you, don't stand on top of it. So you could have AMS'd, you could have icebound, you could have done a variety of things to not get stunned here. But sadly, the other DK, he doesn't do any of them either. And he's going to die there. Actually, it looks like, did you break out with icebound? But yeah. Oh, no, you just die. Okay, so thanks for stopping by. Is this going to be a wipe? I think it is. Yeah, we have no reses. Okay, we're going to wipe here. Well, that makes a lot more sense. Let's see what occurs now. I think it's going to be Pride. We'll get Pride, right? Let's see this boss run around. BNRE. Trying to get him to battle res, I guess. Yeah, that's not going to happen. He's dead. So yeah, no battle res in the group. Okay, so we Pride. No problem. Throwing them feast downs on the mad guap around. Look at that. Oh, you dead too. All right. Anyway, I'm pressing W and both mouse buttons, and I don't move. Can't win. Yeah, or you can just stand next to the boss like a normal human being who has a brain. But now you're playing Hunter, no problem. And you're named after Legolas, right? So well, I'll tell you what. If you ever see a demon hunter named after Illidan, or a hunter named after Legolas, they're garbage. They're just fucking garbage. Okay, don't play with these people. Please don't ever invite these people to your groups. Anyway, so we'll get Pride. Geg says, I will get Pride. Oh, that's a very good idea, yeah. Okay, so we're going to expose our Pride here, and we're going to fight a big red guy. And I don't know what this mob does. I think it buffs us in some way. I've seen it spawn a few times for the dungeon, and I've never really understood its purpose. So, yeah, I guess we just fight it. It's really cool looking, to be honest. So one way or the other, I understand why people want to fight it. Shaman going to cast a lightning bolt. Look at that little lightning bolt. It's pretty good. So, of course, getting Pride for the boss makes it easier. We'll have Lust too, hopefully. I actually don't know if we will, because he Lust on the pull there, and then I'll wipe. Might not have taken long enough. See, Lust resets Sated, but not the actual CD of Bloodlust, so sometimes you don't have it. Alright. Mordretha, the Endless Empress. Probably my favorite boss, just kind of like this boss. It's a really cool fight as a tank, and I love the voice lines. I still cannot find who the voice actor is. If anybody knows, let me know, but it's a good little shield there. But so again, big tip here. Really, really, really want to integrate this. Anybody who has a magic immunity at all. So rogues can do it too. Paladins can do it. Press that F3 button right before that comes out, and you will not spawn an ad. And that is massive, I'll tell you what. And also press that F5 button, and don't get pulled in here. I mean, this is making it very stressful, I'd imagine. So you can use that every single time. Death's Advance is up every single time. And AMS can be used at least twice on the fight. So. And ideally, you'll tank him over in the corner, her over in the corner. Right now, it's not a big deal because there's nothing to dodge, but partially the reason that Hunter was able to get in the bad position he was in was because the boss was in an awkward spot anyway. So yeah, you want to tank it right at the edge. So no matter, as long as the melee are there, they can never get hit by a charge. And yeah, so it's pretty good. It's pretty close. Not too bad. I would get it even further. Kind of like right in this kind of angle right here. Because then everything's very dodgeable. So it's Hunter's still like, he's hitting some slices. Let's put it that way. His arms are his arms are flailing. Okay, so we lusted right there. So that's pretty good. But again, another AMS. AMZ too. I mean, this is all magic damage, which you would know if you had the weak aura. But yeah, all magic damage. Definitely got to get some better value out of some of your CDs here. So. All right, so we have clearly made massive improvements since the last time we have gotten together, Geg. I have to say I'm very impressed. You've really pulled yourself by your bootstraps, and that is awesome to see. But if you want to take the next step, step one is definitely getting something to track your CDs and using them more optimally. I feel like a lot of CDs, and this is literally going to be said about every single player on the planet, myself included. Okay, but I want you to be aware that not tracking your CDs and missing big CD windows is like hugely bad. Like you really couldn't do anything worse as a Blood DK other than like not use Death Strike or something like that. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend taking another look at the UI. You've made a big stride, but in terms of I probably couldn't even see that before. But in terms of damage, we have again that's actually I don't know. That's really not. I guess it depends on the dungeon, but I mean that doesn't strike me as any. Actually, like let's take a look at this. I will show you why I'm saying this. Okay. Let's go find a single target boss, and I'm gonna show you. This is a raid, so it's obviously different, but I'll show you what I mean here. Because this legendary is just not doing anything for you. So let's look at Hungering Destroyer. So obviously single target boss. Let's look at my best. There you go, 2.9. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so Death Strike. It's a problem is I can't actually see. I don't think you're gonna show it, are you? Nah, unfortunately not. Oh, maybe you are. Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. So there we go. So average hit was 6K. So let's compare it to my average hit. Okay. So my average hit was 3K. So that's fair. That's a big increase in offense from Death Strike. But you've done 3.1K overall, which is like not very good. Okay. So you've basically traded Blood Boil for Death Strike is what I would say it feels like here. And even on single target, my Blood Boil, 55 cast, 104K average. That's on a raid fight, obviously, so it's very different. But yeah, I don't know. So you've turned up Death Strike by about double, I guess. So that's fair. The average it's better than I thought. Well, that's average of crits. You got a couple of really big crits there. 11K crit. Let's see what my highest crit was. How do you actually see that? I don't actually know. Doesn't say like a max hit on. That's surprising. Looks like my max crit was 1.5K. So what was that compared to yours? Wait, what? Okay, so yeah, obviously it's a lot better. I'm quite shocked at how much damage this is doing. It's doing more damage than I thought it was, but it's not really increasing your damage. So I think that's all that really matters, right? It looks cool, maybe on paper it's flashy, but yeah, it's not actually improving your overall damage. Like 3.1K there is not very good, honestly, considering you've taken a fully offensive approach. So the bigger question is, do we show healing? Because I'd be very interested in seeing how much healing this is contributing. But you've effectively taken all defensive away. Like this legendary does not increase your defense whatsoever, right? Like, do we agree on that? Like, dancing, you're not even using, you're not even getting any benefit out of the D&D portion of it, right? So let's see. Is he saying anything? He was talking at one point. I just didn't want to. Let's see if. Let's take a look.
Death Strike. Huge part of the damage, obviously. Too many crits. Not as many crits as I thought.
Yeah, only 35 crits, so that's 13%. And that's, I don't know if that's unlucky, because surely you have more than 13% crit. I think you had like 14% crit, so it's slightly low.
Only 13%. Okay. Overall, a big DPS increase from my normal, more defensive with Crimson Rune weapon and such. I don't think I suffer too much defensively, but maybe I do. Not sure.
So ironically, I would say you don't, because you don't really use CDs very well, which is not a good thing. Like that's not a good reason to do this. But in general, yeah, I would not ever do this for 5 minutes. Like it's actually you've opened my eyes though. I might craft this and see what it's like in raid though, because I'm actually quite surprised at how much more damage Death Strike is doing. But we'd have to break it down based on the legendary versus the enchant, because from what I remember, and I could be wrong about this, the weapon enchant is very bad and it's going to be very useless for 5 mans. But it could not. I mean, that's if it's your districts are doing like almost double mine at times, then that's probably doing more than I'm giving it credit for. So maybe I'm just wrong about that. But yeah, I would definitely one way or the other. I would recommend Fallen Crusader because it's going to increase your offense and defense substantially. Like they buffed the hell out of the strength coefficient for Bone Shield. So not taking that is just massive DPS loss. And again, Rune of Sanguination really likely to be healing you very, very little over the course of a dungeon. I'd love to have seen that too, which I don't think we're going to get to see. So I would reconsider at least that. Maybe you want to stick with the legendary. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you what to do on that front, but I will promise you that if you use Dancing Rune Weapon, especially as a Necrolord, and you took Tombstone as well, Dancing Rune Weapon would carry. I mean, it is so freaking strong on some pulls. It's unbelievable. Your damage would be through the roof, and on those packs, and you would have way more. It'd be way smoother. So, anyway, that's it. So, like I said, definitely want to try to figure out this. I would work on UI and keybinds, and the rest is up to you. The gearing, I've given my thoughts. Um, I like to experiment. I like to try things that seem to work for me as well. But just make sure. I would just make sure, because it doesn't. To me, personally, it doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like anything crazy. I'm pretty sure I would do more damage than that without that. And the thing is, it's like a completely offense driven. Like the whole idea is just offense driven, and it's not actually really improving your offense that much. So thanks for watching. Anyone else? I'm very interested in hearing your guys' thoughts as well. So let's see what we can say about it.